Have you ever wondered about the most dangerous gangs in Watts, California? If so, you're not alone. This area holds a complex history, riddled with tales of rivalry and power struggles, and is home to some of the most notorious gangs in the United States. Gang culture here is not just a social issue, it's a part of the fabric of Watts. Understanding it helps us grasp the realities of life in this region. Today we count down the top 10 most dangerous gangs from this area. Starting off our countdown at number 10, we have the Grape Street Watts Crips. Born out of the turbulent times of the late 1970s in the Watts neighborhood of Los Angeles, this gang has carved out its own notorious legacy. Notable for their violent disputes with rival gangs and illicit activities, the Grape Street Watts Crips have managed to maintain a persistent presence in the underworld of Watts. Their influence is not just limited to Watts, as they've expanded their operations beyond the city limits. Their resilience and adaptability have seen them survive several law enforcement crackdowns over the years, which is a testament to their organizational structure and the loyalty of their members. One of the reasons they've earned the 10th spot on our list is their distinctive identity. They are known to sport purple, a color they've adopted from their namesake, Grape. This daring display of affiliation has made them a force to be reckoned with. Known for their distinct purple attire, Grape Street Watts Crips hold the 10th spot on our list. At number 9, we encounter the bounty hunter Watts Bloods. This gang, deeply entrenched in the history of Watts, California, was born from the turbulence of the late 60s. Originally a small group of friends, they grew into a formidable entity, their influence spreading through the Watts neighborhood like wildfire. Their activities, like many others on this list, are marked by violence and crime. Drug trafficking, robbery, and territorial disputes are but a few of the reasons why the bounty hunter Watts Bloods have earned their place in this rundown. They have been involved in several high-profile cases that have caught the public's attention, further cementing their notorious reputation. The bounty hunter Watts Bloods have managed to withstand the test of time, remaining active and influential despite countless efforts to dismantle their operations. Their resilience and the impact they've had on their community earn them a spot in our countdown. A notorious name in Watts, the bounty hunter Watts Bloods secure the 9th spot. Coming in at number 8, it's the PJ Watts Crips. This group has firmly rooted its presence in the Watts neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. The PJ Watts Crips, also known as Project Crips, trace their inception back to the early 1970s, making them one of the older gangs in this list. Their influence has been significant over the years, with activities ranging from drug trafficking to territorial disputes. Their ranking at number 8 is due to a combination of factors. While their numbers may not be as high as some of the other gangs mentioned, they have cemented their reputation through their resilience and longevity. Over the decades, the PJ Watts Crips have managed to maintain their stronghold in the face of law enforcement crackdowns, rival gang disputes, and changing socioeconomic factors. Despite their relatively lower ranking, do not underestimate the PJ Watts Crips. They are a seasoned and formidable group that has stood the test of time. A force to be reckoned with, the PJ Watts Crips take our 8th spot. At number 7 we have a tie. The 10-line Gangsta Crips and Diez Watts X3. The 10-line Gangsta Crips, also known as TLGC, have a rich history dating back several decades. Notorious for their territorial disputes and violent crimes, the 10-line Gangsta Crips have made a name for themselves in the streets of Watts. Parallel to them, we have the Diez Watts X3. Known for their fierce loyalty and ruthless activities, this gang has also earned its reputation in Watts. Their influence and dominance in certain areas of Watts have led to their high ranking. Both these gangs have had their fair share of influence and impact on the community. Their activities, ranging from territorial disputes to organized crime, have earned them a place in the annals of Watts gang history. Two dangerous entities in their own rights, these gangs share the 7th spot on our list. Securing the 6th spot, we have the Front Street Watts Crips. Originating in the 1970s, they've carved a significant space for themselves in the intricate mosaic of Watts gang culture. Their roots can be traced back to the larger Crips gang, but the Front Street faction has made a name for itself through a unique blend of audacity and resilience. They've been involved in various activities, some of which have made headlines. From territorial disputes to drug trafficking, their actions bear witness to their tenacity and their unwillingness to back down. It's this combination of boldness and determination that has earned them their ranking, despite being one of the smaller gangs in the area. However, it's not just their activities that have cemented their position. The Front Street Watts Crips have proven their staying power, surviving through decades of intense gang warfare and law enforcement crackdowns. With their notable presence, the Front Street Watts Crips land at number 6. Breaking into the top 5, we find the Q102 East Coast Crips from South Central. The Q102 East Coast Crips have a long and storied history, beginning their reign in the late 1970s. Their influence has spread far and wide, making them a significant presence in the South Central region. They are known for their notable activities, which include organized crime, drug trafficking, and territorial disputes. Their operations are expansive and well-coordinated, contributing to their high-ranking position. Despite the law enforcement's efforts to curb their activities, the Q102 East Coast Crips continue to thrive, demonstrating their resilience and adaptability. Their ranking is due in part to their size and the scope of their operations, but also to their fierce reputation. They are not a group to be taken lightly, as they have proven time and again their willingness to protect their interests at all costs. A formidable force, the Q102 East Coast Crips take the 5th spot. At number 4 we encounter Varrio Grape. This gang, like many others, has its roots deeply embedded in the neighborhood of Watts, California. Born out of social unrest and economic disparity, Varrio Grape quickly rose to notoriety in the late 20th century. The group's activities range from organized crime and drug trafficking, to territorial disputes and violent confrontations with rival gangs. Their influence and control are felt far beyond the confines of Watts, stretching into various parts of Los Angeles. The level of their operations and the extent of their influence are what set them apart from the rest, earning them a high spot on this list. Their reputation precedes them, with law enforcement and rival gangs alike knowing their name and fearing their reach. Their actions and influence are not to be underestimated, and their impact on the community cannot be ignored. With their notorious reputation, Varrio Grape holds the 4th spot. Coming in at the 3rd spot, we have the 112 Broadway Gangsta Crips. This notorious gang has its roots deep in the heart of East Side South Central Los Angeles. Formed in the turbulent 70s, they've carved a name for themselves through a mix of street warfare, illicit activities, and a distinct code of conduct. Their territory stretches along the iconic Broadway corridor, with the number 112 reflecting their specific geographical location. Over the years, they've been involved in a number of high-profile incidents which have only served to cement their reputation on the streets. The 112 Broadway Gangsta Crips stand out due to their longevity, resilience, and influence in the gang culture of South Central. Despite various attempts to dismantle their operations, they've managed to hold their ground and even expand their influence, a testament to their tenacity and strategic prowess. A prominent name in gang culture, the 112 Broadway Gangsta Crips secure the 3rd spot. Just shy of the top spot at number 2, it's the Bacc Watts Crips. This group has left a significant mark on Watts, California, making it impossible to discuss the area's gang history without mentioning them. Born out of the turbulent 1970s, the Bacc Watts Crips emerged as a formidable force, quickly establishing their influence. Their activities, like many gangs, span a broad spectrum from drug trafficking to violent confrontations, contributing to their notoriety. But what sets them apart and secures their near-top ranking is their territorial reach and resilience. Despite numerous attempts by law enforcement to dismantle them, they've managed to persist, maintaining a strong, albeit disruptive, presence in the Watts community. This persistence, coupled with their extensive reach, has made them a force to be reckoned with, hence their 2nd-place ranking. They may not top the list, but their impact on Watts is undeniable. A dangerous presence in Watts, the Bacc Watts Crips land at number 2. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the most dangerous gang in Watts, California, the 118 East Coast Crips. This notorious group has its roots deeply entrenched in South Central Los Angeles. Born out of the social and economic disparities of the late 20th century, the 118 East Coast Crips have evolved into a major force to be reckoned with. Their activities, ranging from drug trafficking to violent crimes, have earned them a fearsome reputation. But what puts them at the top of our list? It's not just their violent tendencies, but also their extensive network and influence that stretch far beyond the borders of South Central. They've managed to establish a stronghold that remains unchallenged, making them a dominant force in the criminal underworld. Their resilience and adaptability have allowed them to not only survive but thrive in a constantly evolving landscape. Undeniably the most dangerous, the 118 East Coast Crips top our list. And there you have it. The top 10 most dangerous gangs in Watts, California. From the Grape Street Watts Crips to the 118 East Coast Crips, each group possesses a unique, albeit dark, history and influence. This journey through the underbelly of Watts has given us a glimpse of the city's challenging aspects. It's a stark reminder that despite the allure of the gangster image, the reality is often fraught with danger and despair. Remember, this video is for informational purposes only, and we do not encourage or endorse any criminal activities.